Hello, everybody. Whoa. Hello. I'm sorry, I just need to check the mic again. Hello, everybody. Okay. I'm gonna assume that's good. Yeah, I'm late to stream again. This time I got caught up watching a re-res video. I'm sorry. But here we are. Great Ace Attorney. I'm just gonna start the recording and also set this up on Discord. Alright, in the last part, we finished our investigation of Gina. Her name's Gina. Her case. She was accused of murdering Mr. Windibank, and we have finished investigating the case, and now it's time to defend her in court. When I woke the following morning, Sasato-san was already gone. Outside the window, the rain came down in sheets. And so began an even longer day than the last, one that I would remember for the rest of my days. 17th of April, 9:32 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. Good morning, Gina. You know I'm defending you, right? I'm determined to prove your innocence today. I'm sure we can do it. So where's your friend then? Sorry? You know, oh god. The freaking McGilded voice. I had the voices on point last week. Fuck. And I also like how all my streams just become me complaining about how I can't get the voices right. You know, I'm very sorry. You know her, her in the fancy dress? Susato, or however you say it? I don't know. Miss Susato had to leave early this morning. She was already gone by the time I woke up. You alright with that, are you? Forget about me if you like. Go and see her off. It's fine. It's not as though Miss Susato and I won't meet again one day. Even so. But you, Gina. You only get one chance. This trial today is all we have. Good morning, you two! Oh. Wrong voice. I thought it was someone else. How are you feeling, Jeannie? Did you manage to sleep? Iris! What are you doing here? What do you mean? When a friend is in need, we show our support. Isn't that right, Waggy? Ah! Waggy! Great way to show your support, kitty. Let him have a nose around. What arm can it do? You have not seen what that cat can do. Oh, that reminds me. I brought a paper on the way here. Now, would you like the good news or the bad news? What do you say, Runo? Genie? Oh, well, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Oh. Nah, always take the good news first. You might not live to hear the bad. Yes, that question always gives away people's personalities. Let's not go there. Alright then, I'll give you the bad news first. A record amount of rain has fallen this morning, and carriages all over the capital are struggling to move. Huh? The bad news was a weather report? So I hope that Susie made her train to Dover, and that the train isn't delayed on its way to the port. Gosh, yes. Alright then, so what's the good news? Well, the rain is forecast to subside this afternoon. So even if the train is delayed, it should be able to make up the time later. Well, that is good news, isn't it? I couldn't give a monkeys, really. If only all good news canceled out the bad. And look, the trial has made the headlines too. Pawnbroker perishes in pig purse plunder. See? I'm sorry, can't talk today. Do you like that? Well, let them say what they want. See if I can. I can't, because you're covering your face. Don't worry, Runo will soon show everyone that this headline is nonsense. I will? And then, in tomorrow's papers, the headlines will be... Discharged diver is dauntless do-gooder. Isn't that right, Runo? Oh, yes. Let's hope so. Of course they will! I have absolute faith in you. How was that? I was trying to sound like Susie. Did it work? Did it? It's like she was still here. Today's paper has been entered into the court record. Alright, I'm gonna check that out. Alright, paper. Pawnbroker perishes in pickpocket plunder. Pick-purse plunder? How awful. For Genie, I mean. But tomorrow's headline will be Discharged Diver is Dauntless Do-Gooder, right? Yes, something like that. If possible, I'd like to go even bigger. Bigger? How? Proud pickpocket protects planet post-trial. Perhaps? Protects planet? Oh, I can't wait for tomorrow now. It's going to be great. Let's take a... What's this about? There's a sensational story lower down the front page as well. Look. Ministry Mole? Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas from Ministry of Justice? For a 10-year-old. Iris certainly has her finger on the pulse of the world news. It's about secret communications between Great Britain and its allies. Apparently, they're being intercepted by hostile nations. One second, I need to check something. Alright. It's alright. Communications are being intercepted? But how would somebody be doing that? That's the question, isn't it? I've come up with 3 different possible methods so far. Were you looking for a new career, Runo? No, of course not. I wonder. Perhaps this is what Lord Strongheart was talking about yesterday. Yes, it could be, and it could explain why he has Gregsy running from pillar to post at the moment. Okay. So secrets are being leaked. Alright. Good luck then, Runo. I'll do what I can. Obviously, I don't know the law like Susie does, but still. I'll be by your side the whole time, giving you moral support and encouragement. I'm not sure that big thing is as comforting as you think it is, to be honest, but... Thank you, Iris. That's very kind of you. Oh yeah, Iris. Yes, Genie? Well, I was wondering is all, about Sholmes. Did they fix him up alright? Yes. I'm sorry. The operation was a great success, but Hurley still hasn't come around yet. Eh? I've asked a friend of mine at Scotland Yard to send a telegram as soon as he wakes up. I'm sure Gregson will let us know the moment there's news. Oh, right. No Susasan and no Mr. Sholmes. It's all down to me today, to prove that Gina is innocent of this crime. Miss Gina Lestrade, counsel for the defense. The trial is about to begin. Please make your way into the courtroom. It's time then. Yes, let's go, Gina, Iris. Lead the way, Runo. Poor Gina. She's trying to put on a brave face, but I can tell she's worried and scared. I have to believe in her from start to finish. That's the weapon that will secure our victory here. If I learned anything from my great friend, it's that. '17th of April, 10 a.m. The Old Bailey Courtroom. that the hat guy from the McGilded trial? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. The trial shall determine the guilt or innocence of Miss Gina Lestrade. Should it be Lestrade? I don't know. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready. Lord Van Zieks. My lord? Remind me, how many years ago was it that you withdrew from the public prosecution service? It was some 5 years ago, my lord. Yes, and then 2 months ago you resurfaced somewhat unexpectedly, and here you are again today. Are there some circumstances of which the court should be aware that have led to this erratic behavior? In one might describe as your former life 5 years past, you dealt exclusively in matters concerned with the highest echelon of society and government. Really? Yet today, you choose to try a simple case of a burglary and murder. I confess I find it more than a little befuddling, Counsel. There are two types of person I cannot abide. Firstly, those wealthy scoundrels who hide behind a mark of philanthropy to cheat the public at large. He means Mr. McGilded, who defended against the Reaper 2 months ago. Yes, I just about managed to work that out. Thank you. Magnus McGilded. If I'd known what a monster he was, I would have never defended him. And secondly, even more loathsome, those wily scoundrels who masquerade as allies only to effect total betrayal in the final hour. In other words, the confidence tricksters from those tiny islands in the Far East, the Nipponese. What? Did he really just say that? So he's racist. Okay, good to know. He means you now, Runo. I actually managed to work that out too. Thank you, Iris. Total betrayal? What are you talking about? That torrid look of hatred in Lord Van Zieks' eyes. Was that directed solely at me, or was he talking about all Japanese people? An alarming, scathing explanation, Lord Van Zieks. Still, the judiciary welcomes the return of the so-called Reaper of the Bailey, feared by all London's malefactors. Your lordship is too kind. Now, jurors, the 6 of you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people in this trial. Okay, no, that's not the Hatmaker. That guy's a doctor now. She does... I don't know what the name would be. Telegram lady. That is the fucking villain we were hearing about in the second case. The fucking Russian dude who's the fucking Russian revolutionist. And that guy is the husband of the woman who threw a knife at someone. And then we have the maid who seems normal as always. Are you ready to hear the evidence placed before you and determine the guilt or innocence of the defendant? Let me see if I can get this voice right. Former lieutenant of the British... Former lieutenant in the British Army here. Army here, don't you know? Chaps like me were born ready. Clean crocky, clean cutlery, and clean conscience. His lordship's motto is very appropriate here, I think. Everything will be stereoscopic in the future. Absolutely, absolutely everything, and I'm ready for it. Yeah, this was a 3DS game. I don't understand it. I can't have left it in there. It's not possible. But could I have? Women indispensable in society. Stop. Female-centric future waits. Stop. Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take a bus to Crystal Tower, please. We're not gonna bring that up, that he's very clearly and obviously the Russian revolutionist. Something wrong, Renault? Oh, not exactly. It's just... I'm fairly sure I recognize these jurors. Almost all of them, in fact. Was that the actual hack guy? And he just changed professions like everyone else? Really? Funny coincidences that like that do happen from time to time, don't they? But it is quite strange. The jurors are chosen at random from London's 6 million inhabitants, you know. So I've been led to believe, but something tells me I'm being duped. I think that's just the game pointing out that that it has an incredibly low budget and has to reuse models. Very well. I'm sorry. Very well. Now, Lord Van Zeeks, the court calls upon the prosecution to introduce the facts of the case. As you wish, my lord. Allow me to begin with a word of warning to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. In short, there has never been a more self-evident case of cold-blooded murder. The victim, Mr. Pop Windibank, proprietor of a pawn shop on Baker Street, was shot from behind and died instantly. The prosecution presents this photographic print of the crime scene. As the court will observe, there is a single bullet wound just below the gentleman's left shoulder. The evidence suggests that the bullet pierced the man's heart, resulting in near-instant death. Moving on to the findings of Scotland Yard's coroner. His report states that the bullet entered the body on a rising diagonal trajectory. And what's that supposed to tell us? It means the victim was likely shot by someone significantly shorter in height than himself. Someone, like the accused, you might say. Or someone who's just on the floor looking for something and just reacting. Oh! The prosecution wishes to present the autopsy report and crime scene photograph as evidence, my lord. Indeed, the court accepts. Hand them to the bailiff, please. Why do you keep bringing up the court record, defense? Autopsy report has been entered into the court record. Let's take a look at that. And the crime scene photograph. Sure. To this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. Let's take a look at both of those. Whoa, wait a minute. The bullet entered the body from the back. From the back? And it's rising. I mean, it would definitely go through a lung, but I could be wrong, but isn't the heart in, like, actually the center of the chest? I remember seeing, like, part of something on the History Channel at some point where they're like, yeah, the heart is actually in the center of the chest. I could be wrong on that. From the back... Sorry. I mean, it would fuck you up good, but... Now I ask the court to turn its attention to this plan of the establishment where the incident occurred. The proprietor was found in the storeroom where he kept articles pawned to him. A windowless room with a single point of entry, a door to the main shop that was found locked. In this sealed chamber, there were only 2 persons present. The victim, Mr. Windybank, and the accused. It may further interest the court to know that when the accused was discovered at the scene, she had in her hand the gun used to fire the fatal bullet. Well, that's that then, isn't it? Nothing more to say. Isn't that grubby little girl a pickpocket anyway? She's one of those filthy drabs that lives in the slums on the East End. Oh well, it was only a matter of time before she got blood on her hands then. What are the jurors waiting for? The girl is guilty already. We can't jump to conclusions here. We mustn't assume her guilt because of what she has to do to survive. My learned Nipponese friend, it is you who mustn't jump to conclusions. The prosecution has barely begun presenting its case. Conveniently, this appalling act of murder did not go unobserved. There were witnesses. Good gracious! After their testimony, this girl's true nature will be exposed. Pitiful pick-purse or cold-hearted killer. Here's to establishing the truth. Well, then it has to be these witnesses. One of these witnesses, at the very least, who actually did it, and not both of them. The court will take the floor plan and firearm into evidence. Hand them to the bailiff, please, Lord Van Zieks. At once, my lord. Here's the crime scene floor plan. And the gun. Let's take a look at those. This is Mr. Windybank's gun. The cylinder is completely empty. Well, I want to see it anyway. Mr. Windybank always used to keep this gun gun to hand on his shop counter. Yes, but only ever with a single bullet loaded, I understand. That's right, to keep all the pawn articles that were in his care safe. But his one bullet was fired that night, and the poor man lost his life. Was he protecting his shop? I wonder, trying to keep the articles safe? We already... Can I look down the barrel, actually? Let me try a little more. Nope. Alright. Hold on, let me take a look at that description again. There are signs of a single discharge. I feel like the mood in here has turned very gloomy all of a sudden, Runo. I think that's because it has. Let us begin! Bring forth the witnesses to the foul murder of Mr. Pop Windybank on the 16th of April of this year. Very interesting. Witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court. I have no idea what voice to give these guys. I'm at a loss. Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is baddie. Professional baddie. Name's Ringo Skulkin. Occupation's, same as him. Tobias Gregson. Scotland Yard Inspector. That's right. They're what we call... The three Skulkin brothers. What are you looking at me like that? Don't let me in with you lot. God, blimey, that's cold. Don't you know what you're going through? It's our older bruv. Lost contact with him we have, so we're scouring every shady corner of the capital. And the last night we came across you, the very spit of the bloke. Ain't that right, Ringo? He is not, he is. The very spit of him. So if we decide there ain't, there, and then what we was gonna do, we was gonna call you. Big Bruv Skulky. Come on, leave it out. Come on, leave it out, you two. Skulkin? And that's before he's run out of chips. I'm sorry, can I see that again? What? Well then, Inspector Sulky Gregson. Begging your pardon, my lord, but the name's Tobias. What I would like to know, Inspector, is what are you doing in the witness stand? The Skulkin brothers are currently under arrest, my lord, on suspicion of theft. Thieves, are they? These three? No, my lord. Begging your pardon, but please don't let me in with this lot. 2 nights ago, these two brothers illegally entered an establishment with intent to burgle. And in the course of their nefarious activities, they became embroiled in a far more sinister crime. By Jove, what do you mean to say? What an extraordinary coincidence. Indeed, my lord. While attempting to burglarize the pawnbrokery, they witnessed the proprietor's murder. Order! Order! The various trespasses of these brothers is not subject of today's proceedings, though they will naturally face trial in the very near future. With your lordship's permission, I'd like to remain in the stand to keep these gents on the straight and narrow. Well, of course, Inspector. Skeptical as I am about the caliber of these witnesses, I will permit them to take the stand. Mr. and Mr. Skulkin, you will now testify before the court. Describe the events of the night in question and what exactly you saw. Aptly do. That is not the right. That is. Cause a Skulkin's never skulkin'. Got it. Witness testimony. Illegal entry. We was walking down Baker Street in the small hours and the Gav's door was ajar, see? It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in, it was. But once we got inside, God blimey, loomy, we had a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that, nice and quiet. Here's the question, though. Why was the door locked from the inside? I can see it being locked from the outside. Why was it locked from the inside? Because that seems to be what it was, right? Because I'm not even entirely convinced she would have been made she wouldn't have been charged with, well then again, I think that's a little too far. But still, I mean, like, why was it locked from the inside, though? That is the question, now that I think about it. Why was it locked from the inside? A terrible coincidence, it would seem. At the precise moment these miscreants entered the property, an even more sinister crime was afoot. The witness's testimony is consistent with the crime scene in every detail. The door providing access to the storeroom from the main shop was indeed locked from the inside. Why, though? Why was it locked from the inside? Who locked it from the inside? Why would they do that? And within, only the victim and the accused were found. I'm gonna go check on something. Everything's alright. I must say, it does appear to be an overwhelmingly simple case. Still, there's that question of who locked it from the inside, and why was it locked from the inside? Still, the defense may cross-examine the witnesses now. Of course, counsel, if you please. Counsel? Yes. What's the matter, Runo? Sorry, I was just stunned into silence for a minute by the blatant lies being told by that pair in the stand. I know that it's all nonsense because I saw it with my own. Yeah, they shot Sholmes. I'll just have to expose their testimony for the pack of lies it is. I don't know why I didn't realize that before. They never even mentioned Sholmes. Was walking down Baker Street, and the gas door was ajar, see? It was like some kind of sign begging for us to go in, it was. But once we got inside, called Blimey Loomy, we heard a gunshot from the back room. We went to see what was what, but the door was locked from the inside. We never done nothing, Governor. We never took nothing. We just left after that nice and quiet. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm not even gonna bother, really. Let's see here. Now that I think about it, yeah, this isn't as obvious as I thought it was, proving that there was... I'm gonna press. You didn't do or take anything? Is that your story? Well, it was Bedlam soon, well, it was Bedlam soon, weren't it? It was, Nosh, it was. Didn't even have the time to pull me dukes out me Lucy lockets. So with no time to take your hands out of your pockets, you just left. Nice and quietly, you say. That's right, Governor. Nothing we ain't more than violence. Peace-loving nibblers we are, not, bludgers. We are, Nash, we are. Never even pulled me dukes out of me Lucy lockets. So you'd clearly like us to believe. Eh? Come again? As you fled the pawnbrokers that night, did you not run into anyone else? And did you not fire a gun at that person? Surge alive! They fired a gun, you say? Arg! Boy be governor! You ain't telling us it was you in the doorway? It was. Why the bleeding Nora? Did you mention that before? You were armed with a gun, and as you fled the scene, you fired that gun at London's greatest detective, Sherlock Sholmes. They shot the great Mr. Sholmes? I did hear that, actually. There was a rumor he'd been rushed to the hospital. The great Sholmes? That's beyond the pale. On the night in question, this pair were arrested by the police within minutes of the discovery of the crime scene. Their suspicious countenance rapidly gave them away. And when searched, a firearm was indeed found in their possession. Furthermore, the barrel showed signs of a shot having been fired from it. Oh! Why was this not brought up before you? Instantly, we have another possible suspect. Instantly. The prosecution invites his lordship to examine the firearm recovered from these brothers. Yes, indeed. Remnants of powder around the muzzle, as you say, counsel. The court will hold this weapon as evidence. The Skulking Brothers' gun has been entered in the court record. Now, my Lord Nipponese friend. 1 second, let me check this. I did this on purpose this time. So, there's ammunition still loaded in 5 of this revolver, there's 5 bullets in the chamber! Yes, which tells us that only a single shot has been fired from it. Exactly. The bullet that hit Hurley, in fact, isn't it? Yes, it happened almost as soon as we walked in through Windibank's door. I'll make those brothers pay. Can't actually see the bullets, even though we can clearly see the revolver. Trying to see if there's anything else. Doesn't really look like it. Yeah. I just remembered that they shot Sherlock, so this gun at the very least could not have been used to kill Windibank. Now, my Lord Nipponese friend. Yes? Here's to you successfully presenting the evidence. For yes, there are telltale signs of spent powder on this gun and a single bullet missing from the cylinder. But the prosecution demands evidence that it was fired at the scene of the crime under scrutiny in this trial. I was there! Because I was there, yeah! However, the rest of us in this courtroom were not. If the defense fails to provide evidence in support of its rash claim, we shall have no choice but to toast your incompetence and move on. Evidence that these two fired that gun before they left Windibanks that night. The court demands that all claims are affirmed with clear proof. What evidence shows that these witnesses unloaded a firearm in the pawnbroker shop that night? Luckily, I can still save. Let me take a look here. Mr. Masons. I forgot about this! I'm an idiot. It's probably Sherlock Sholmes. Alright. Wait, hold up. I hit the wrong button. There we go. The evidence is in this portfolio. What? What on earth have you there, Counsel? During the course of our investigations, we discovered a number of bloodstains. Not trusting the police to do the job they're trained to do? How arrogantly Nipponese of you. Well, anyway, we analyzed all the blood samples we found and recorded the results in this portfolio. And you claim to have the evidence the court is demanding therein? Yes, my lord. No more dallying then, Counsel. Present the pertinent evidence at once. What do you have in your portfolio that proves these witnesses unloaded a firearm at the scene? This one right here. Take that. What is that? Explain! It's a photographic print taken at Windibank's pawnbroker on the day of the incident. From the scene of the crime, is it? Is that a bullet hole? And if my eyes were not to see me, it appears the bullet is still lodged there. Yes, as your lordship noticed, the bullet pierced Mr. Windibank's calendar. The date shown being the 16th of April, the very day of the pawnbroker's death. The incident occurred at 1 hour after midnight. But this indicates that a separate shot had been fired sometime after the calendar had been set to the 16th. That's right, and while it is irrefutable, the defense believes this is credible evidence that the witnesses did fire a round from their gun in the pawnbrokers that night. Ah! Order! How does the prosecution stand, Lord Van Zieks? If that is the direction my learned friend wishes to take, the prosecution has no objection. What? But you'll forgive me for flinging my hallowed chalice aside in disgust at the repugnancy it exposes. Yes, on the night in question, these brothers entered the pawnbrokery illegally. And like the bold baddies they claim to be, opened fire on the new arrivals before fleeing back onto the street. Eh? Take it easy there, Governor. You're gonna land us in the soup. We had a deal. You weren't gonna let them in. Details. Tell him, Sulky. Set the bloke straight. I have nothing to add. So he knew, did he? Van Zieks knew their testimony would almost certainly expose the extent of their crimes. It would seem now that I owe my learned Nipponese friend a word of gratitude. What do you mean? What I mean is that you have helpfully confirmed an important fact. To what fact do you refer, Lord Van Zieks? As has been established at the point of their arrest, a single shot had been fired from the brother's gun. However, if that shot found its target in Mr. Sholmes, then clearly these witnesses cannot be accused of the fatal shooting of the proprietor and the victim. Ah! In other words, these two men have no material connection to the murder of Mr. Windibank at all. So that's it. That's it. We didn't have nothing to do with it. We didn't, Nash. We didn't. That's what I reckon. Your crimes include unlawful entry, intent to steal, perjury, and let us not forget, attempted murder. Quite a catalog, eh, fellas? We're in for it now, bruv. Now then, let us take a moment to consider the aforementioned great detective, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. It would seem that the man patronized in the pawnbrokers in question somewhat regularly. I'm sorry, having trouble both speaking and reading. Where's he going with this? Mr. Sholmes appears to take pleasure in tinkering with eccentric machinery. Eccentric? Says who? Not me. Don't give me that look. He installed a pair of machines like this one in the victim's shop. Oh! That's one of Hurley's red-handed recorders! What is that, Counsel? It has the appearance of a photographic contraption. As your lordship has surmised, it is indeed a camera attached to a small timing device. Every half hour, it automatically photographs the interior of the establishment. The idea being that if a thief were to break into the shop, he would be caught red-handed. The prosecution has obtained the photographs taken by the device on the night in question. 8 p.m., 8:30, 9:30. As the court will observe, copious identical prints are produced in a quite desultory fashion. Rather prodigal, I feel. In fact, there are 2 such devices in the victim's shop, my lord. If I may refer the court to the plans of the premises, their respective positions are here and here. You say these cameras produce a print every half hour. I'm afraid I fail to see how that would help if the anticipated thief conducted his activities in one of the many 30-minute intervals. One can only pray that the would-be criminal lingers, my lord. On the night in question, the witnesses currently in the stand were not caught on camera. That's a bit of friar talk, ain't it, Abram? Lady Luck loves a skulking. Witnesses, at what time did your trespassing begin? Must have been just after 1, right, bruv? Must have been, Nash, must have been, yeah, just gone 1. 1, huh? Let's take a look here. Just after 1. So that means they were there during the murder, most likely. In which case, minutes before these brothers entered the establishment. What scene might we expect to see within the shop? Let us examine the evidence. 1 a.m. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm very confused now. It's the defendant! Miss Gina Lestrade! Was he gonna do, like, the I'm gonna shoot myself thing again? And Gina's like, no, you're not doing that. As the court can clearly see... But where were they? As the accused is pictured, gun in hand, facing the victim over the shop counter, no doubt coercing the proprietor to open the door to his storeroom. Quite. One can only too easily imagine the events that unfolded. So, what they're saying is that he locked the door to kind of keep them both in there so they would get caught, but then how did Gina get knocked out, and then how did she fire the gun at him? The court will take this photographic print as evidence, if you please, counsel. Photograph of Gina has been entered into the court record. Ugh. I don't believe it! Jeannie! In short, the accused is the only person who could possibly have killed Mr. Windybank. I say, my lord. Is the jury being like, she's guilty? Yeah. I wonder if I might put in a word at this point. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Took a barely bullet to the knee in the Battle of May 1, 1880, don't you know? Decorated for it and all that, but forced to retire from service, sadly. Defense, why do you keep bringing up the court record? course, a medal can never outshine the exploits of chaps like us on the battlefield. We actually did. We did get that actually. Okay, hold on. This has nothing to do with the case at hand, but anime cat, realistic looking dog. Okay. I think someone just put their dog in the game. Yes, Mr. Foreman, and what exactly is your point? Carried on the battle after retirement, you see. The battle of daily life, if you like. And here I am now, leading this small squadron. 6 men, all good and true. And we'll all go down together, you mark my words. One for all and all for one. I mean, you guys are the jury. It doesn't have to be that extreme. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached an agreement, have they? Is that what we are to understand? Well, Mr. Foreman, is that correct? In a manner of speaking, yes. This is the Gyaradeep Squadron's position, sir. What? No, it's too soon to make a judgment here. Status report for the courtmen on the devil. His lordship insists on promptitude at all times, and that goes for making decisions too. I have no idea what voice I gave him. I think you'll find the truth as clear as day now. I could reach out and touch it. I wouldn't have left it in there. I just wouldn't. But in all honesty, I can't actually remember. He left something inside the person he was fucking. No, not fucking. No, inside the person he was doing surgery on. Situation clear. Stop. No room for doubt. Stop. Truth now undeniable. Stop. I am very sorry, my for brothers. They are unlucky. Very well. I now call upon each member of the jury to state his or her learning in this matter. Announce your considered verdicts to the court.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Oh, I didn't get any of the voices right. It does indeed appear that the jury is unanimous in its leaning already. That photograph. It must be the definitive evidence that Gregson mentioned. Pacini didn't shoot him. No, of course not. My lord, the defense wishes to assert its right to a summation examination. Very well, the court grants permission. So, you refuse to admit defeat again. How unsurprising. We shall proceed immediately with a summation examination. Mr. Foreman, are all members of the jury ready? Absolutely, sir. All right. Always ready for action, my chaps. God, why can't I talk? Very good. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on what grounds you have determined the defendant to be guilty. Judicial findings. I'm going to take a small drink here. Store brand Mountain Dew. All the evidence clearly points the finger of guilt at this young pickpocketing. As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated. That has nothing to do with the case. I think you'll find that if you look at the photograph in stereo, the truth will just pop out. Actually, no, there are two. If I have her left in there, I should think there'll be repercussions by now. My mind made up. Stop. Global radio transmission of verdict to follow. Stop. In Motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent. Wait, what? Hold hold on. You said you declared her guilty, but you say now that that you think she's innocent. What? The circumstances of the crime and the evidence do indeed implicate the defendant rather comprehensively. The storeroom locked from the inside, in which the victim and the accused were discovered alone. But why was the door locked from the inside, and why was Gina knocked out? Hell, if it was locked from the inside, she could have just... If it was locked from the inside, what happened in between? Like, that picture being taken and the incident where he died? Because assuming she didn't just... She didn't just randomly fall unconscious, she could have just unlocked the door and left. But she couldn't have done that because she was unconscious. Why didn't... So how was she knocked out? And why was the door locked from the inside in the first place? The storeroom locked from the... Oh yeah, I've already said this. And in the accused's hands, the fatal revolver, the firing of which was heard by these witnesses. Not to mention this print. Taken from a chap who's seen action on the battlefield. That young girl's on the verge of pulling the bally trigger. It does look like she has her finger on the trigger, though. Thanks a lot, Mr. Sholmes. Oh dear, Hurley's cameras were supposed to help, not hinder. I'm afraid I think you have an uphill struggle ahead of you. But Gina didn't shoot Mr. Windybank. Which means there's more to this situation than we've yet to see. Agreed. You have the floor, counsel. It's a little bit of Garrideeb's voice. Proceed with the summation examination. The defense's rebuttal. Okay, well, you know what? I think I will actually press everyone, because we don't... Sir, that pipe is not in your mouth. It's in your lip. Let me just show this. Look at that. Hold on. I just want to check something real fast. What is it? No, I don't want to close the software. Okay. You're Mr. Natsume's landlord, Mr. Garrideeb, aren't you? We really must stop meeting like this. Ah, you're that lawyer chap. Well, there's a turn up for the books. Yes, rather a turbulent time we had back then. Some extraordinary events took place at your house, that's for sure. Luckily, Mr. Sholmes and I were able to get to the bottom of it all. Let me just see if anyone else has any reaction. Nope. I think we did rather a lot for you, didn't we? I mean, obviously. I wouldn't be suggesting that, therefore, you should change your leaning to not guilty or anything. Can't be denied, I suppose. The curse of the Garrideeb house was the talk of the town after that business. Lodgers moved out, and I couldn't get a bally soul to take up the tenancies. Oh. Haven't had the heart to break the news to Joni yet. Bad enough that the old girl's clapped up. Yes, can't be denied. You did do rather a lot. Not for us, that's for dash certain. I suppose not. Course. There can be no suggestion of that being the reason I'm leaning towards guilty here, obviously. But honestly, I really wish he'd pay more attention to the trial and less to juror number 2. As a housemaid, I should like to see all filthy eyesores promptly and rigorously eliminated. Polishing the bench, I see. Again. A maid's work is never done. Not a blemish must remain. What exactly do you mean by filthy eyesores? On my way to the to market for his lordship, I have to pass through the East End. The place is full of beggars, pick-pursers, and crossmen, the scum of the earth. A little harsh, perhaps. Let me be plain. If it were up to me, all those backslums would be made spick and span or eradicated. At least we have people like the Great Detective working to achieve these important goals. You're referring to Mr. Herlock Sholmes. That's right. I like to keep abreast of his exploits by reading Rance magazine in between my duties. He does wonders cleaning up London streets. In my opinion, he should be declared an honorary maid of the capital. Mr. Sholmes? A maid? I mean, someone wants to see it, I'm sure. It's really quite unforgivable. Gutter scum having the audacity to shoot our greatest detective, except she didn't shoot him. We just proved that. Minor detail. It was the two brothers in the stand who shot Mr. Sholmes, not the defendant. Exactly, Ryunosuke. Exactly. A minor detail indeed. They're all gutter scum as far as I'm concerned. Well, it just might be an idea to get our facts straight anyway. Yes, alright. I shall amend my statement. Alright. Those brothers are the scum of the earth. They should swing for shoot. They should swing for shooting. Oh! A hang! Okay. The Great Detective. Actually, hold on. Let me press the... No, I think we're good, actually.
Hold it!
What do you mean, look at the photograph in stereo? Sorry, what? Don't you know? If you look at the photographic print normally, it looks as though the pickpocket girl is about to shoot the victim, obviously. But there's no indication that the defendant ever fired the gun. All I'm saying is that if you look at the same print in stereo, it could reveal all sorts of new information. Alright, I shall try that. It didn't work for me last week, but I'll give it a shot. I shall actually cross my eyes when looking at this. Okay, I'm not seeing anything. I mean, it can kind of look like he's the one holding the gun, but the camera wouldn't make that error. By any chance, are you a fan of stereoscopes? Oh! How did you know? Let's call it a lucky guess. It never gets old, seeing the two prints merge into one before your eyes. It's extraordinary. It's captivating. It's the height of modernity. I think I should remind everyone. Okay, hold on. I'm turning this down a little bit. I'm turning the mic down a little bit. Just like 2 decibels. Yeah, that's good. Alright. I would like to remind everyone that, I'd like to remind everyone. The game is reminding everyone for me that this game was on the 3DS! In Japan. If you're American, this is likely the first time you're seeing it unless you have a Japanese 3DS or emulated. Point! The point... You know what? Never mind. I actually completely lost my point. Oh yes, I think you'll find that the stereoscope is here to stay. Oh, I'm playing this on the successor to the 3DS that has no 3D. Giving us new perspectives we could only dream of before. It's the greatest invention the world has ever seen. If only you could give me a new perspective on this case, I might agree with you. If I had left it in there, I should think there'll be repercussions by now. What exactly have you been muttering about all this time, sir? You keep talking about having left something somewhere, or something like that. Oh, sorry. As you can probably tell, I'm a surgeon. A surgeon? That totally passed me by. Of course, people conducting surgery in this country aren't considered to be doctors, oh no. Even though me and my kind are at the forefront of medical science, the real brains in the field. So, what is it that you think you've left behind? Oh, well, that's a little embarrassing, to be honest. You see, I was operating on someone yesterday, standard thing, went in through the abdomen. But when I finished the procedure, I couldn't find my... Don't tell me. He's the one who operated on Sholmes. Do not tell me that. No fucking wonder he's not here yet. Dude has a fucking blade in his fucking ass, his fucking stomach. God, what the fuck? Exactly. Surely not. You say to yourself, don't you? Worrying, isn't it? That's what's been troubling me this whole time. Could I really have left my scalpel inside the fellow's belly? No, of course I couldn't. So, there you have it. Like I said, a little embarrassing, really. But this name, Dr. Sholmes, by any chance? That's one way of putting it. The other is manslaughter. That's exactly my concern, and seeing as this case appears to be all but sewn up, I need to focus on trying to remember exactly what I've sewn up elsewhere. Now, I'm sure I made sure everything was back as it should be. Well, as sure as you can be without being sure. I'm sure you need to be more sure.
Hold it!
Sorry, radio transmission? What do you mean? Are you from the Far East? Stop. Yes, from the Empire of Japan. All communication with Far Eastern nations used to take place by mail. Royal Mail steamers take more than a month to complete the journeys. Ah, but now we have the electric telegram, so we can send messages using electrical signals. Thousands of miles of cable has been laid along the ocean beds connecting the entire world. Ocean beds? Thousands of miles of cable? On the ocean bed? It makes my head hurt just thinking about it. You are well informed, young lady. Hee hee. But cables will soon become a thing of the past. Stop. And just when I was starting to catch up. Radio transmission is the future. Stop. Messages messages carried over airwaves to the four corners of the globe. Stop. Excitement growing. Stop. Atmospheric electric. Stop. Right. Try not to wear out your fingers. Aero wireless telegraphy. Stop. Driving technological revolution. Stop. And people say inventions like the stereoscope are the height of technology. What utter piffle. I can't understand it. I really can't. They're just... Hi there. What do you have to say?
Excuse me.
Juror number 3. Sorry to interrupt when you're obviously fuming, but... What? Do you perhaps have something to say about juror number 5's last remark? As if I couldn't guess. Oh, you bet I do! Say that again! Go on! I dare you! Goodness, are you talking to me? He just might be, yes. You think stereoscopes are just toys, do you, huh? Absolutely. I mean, really, a machine to view photographs in 3 dimensions? Why on earth would you not just use your eyes to look at the world around you? It's all 3-dimensional. Once again, this game was originally on the 3DS! What a great way to appease the man. No, I'm sorry. Stereoscopes are of no practical use at all. You just don't know! Pardon? I think you'll find that viewing a photograph through a stereoscope can unlock all sorts of possibilities. I'm obviously going to have to demonstrate. What sort of possibilities? Well, take a crime scene for example. If you had a pair of photographs from a crime scene that could view through a stereoscope, it could reveal hidden clues you never even noticed before. What? Have you got any, Bruno? Any prints we could look at with a stereoscope? I mean, we have this one. How about this print here? It should do the trick, I think.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any 2 suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all. Don't have that! I do not have that. I'm gonna lose a point. Here. This isn't gonna work. I'm gonna lose a... Oh dear, oh dear. Don't you have these in the Far East? No, actually, they don't in the game. Well, actually, they do. Don't you have a... Don't you know how a stereoscope works? Bruno, what? You need 2 photographs for a stereoscope. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I figured out what I have to do. I think I do. No. I think you'll find that the clue is in the name. It's a stereoscope, not a monoscope. You always need 2 prints. Thanks for the friendly explanation. I thought maybe like the other... I thought maybe we could just like tell... like the prosecution. Hey, can we get like the other photograph? From the other camera? Ha ha ha! Oh no, wait! I think I was on the right track. We just didn't have it. I think you'll find that it that know-it-all expression is really starting to annoy me. I thought I was off. I thought I was wrong, actually. In Motherland, we say never judge by clothes, judge by head. I am convinced brothers are innocent. Then why'd you give a guilty verdict? Please tell me you're not villain Borshvik. Thank you! Thank you so much, Ryunosuke. The Russian revolutionary. Revolutionary? Duh, I believe there is such a rumor. It's just a rumor? As you see, I have unfortunate appearance. I look like Wish's criminal. Your words, not mine. Just want to point that out. People call me revolutionary, murderer, autocrat. Just gonna bring this up again. And which glove fits? Good day. I am visiting London for sightseeing. I would like to take bus to Crystal Tower, please. Right. That didn't sound staged at all. You'll forgive me for having my doubts. To be treated like Wish's criminal all the time, it is very painful. People do not realize. I have much sympathies for these brothers. People say they are criminals only because of how they look. The Skulkin brothers? Oh, them! Okay, I thought they were talking about, I thought he was talking about Gina for some reason. I'm an idiot. Maybe, they went inside pawnbroker's shop. But they have done nothing wrong. That is all I want to say. The Skulkin brothers did nothing wrong that night? Alright. Well, first of all, That's one not so little misunderstanding I'll need to clear up straight away. Tell me something, Iris. What is it, Runo? The jurors are chosen at random from the inhabitants of London Town, aren't they? Yes, it's amazing, isn't it? In that case, how is it that there's a Russian tourist sitting among them who looks for all the world like a revolutionary? I wish I knew. If I can't change the minds of more than half of these 6 jurors, the trial will be over. But we know that Jeannie would never shoot anyone. Yes, so we need to find contradictions in what these jurors are saying and pit them against each other. I must be ready to go whatever lengths I have to convince them of Gina's innocence. Let's see here. I'll pit you against you.
Objection.
Those two statements clearly contradict each other. Good Lord! Counsel, explain yourself! Oh my statement? Contradictory? Contradict. C-O-N. Juror number 6, you've got the wrong end of the stick. I do not have stick. I have mouse. He's not lying there. As juror number 2 said earlier, when the Skulkin brothers fled the scene on the night in question, they fired a shot from their revolver. Yes, they shot poor Mr. Sholmes in the abdomen, I understand. Surely you're not going to tell the court now that you didn't hear. Abdomen. A, B, D. Sir? Sorry. My English is still learning. You are telling the court you didn't hear. Forgive me, I did not hear. Ugh. Ah, here's word, abdomen. Part of person's body containing stomach and other vital organs. Is this what you mean you should say in plain English? I am Russian, not native speaker. Who thought it was a good idea to let this man on the jury again? Whoa. I swear I just got this weird sense of deja vu. Maybe it's the fact that I'm just kind of used to the scene of me sitting here streaming now. Maybe I'm just used to that now. But I swear I've seen this exact image with those exact words somewhere before. Maybe it was earlier in this stream and I'm just not... And it's just not clicking in my head. I don't know. So, you are telling me that these brothers who look like criminals were lying? They said before, we never done nothing, but truth is, they shot detective. Duh, this is double negative. Yes, that's exactly right. Lying is wrong, especially when lie is said by a person who looks like criminal. Coming from you, that seems surprisingly prejudiced. This means... Could you please let up on the poor mouse? Please? When they said we never took nothing, maybe it was also a big fat lie. Is this true? I mean... Well, according to the police report, no stolen goods were found, so... Enough! I trust no one now! It's not the mouse's fault, though, sir. I agree. I must see with own eyes! I must investigate crime scene myself! I'm afraid that won't be possible. Yes, it is, Runo! Easily! Sorry? With a print from Hurley's red-handed recorder! Ah! If you compare the print that pictures Jeannie and the next print of a half an hour later, you'll be able to see straight away if anything was taken or not. Cooey, Mr. Prosecutor! Tut tut, calling on the prosecution in the middle of a summation examination of all times. The print showing the accused threatening the victim after she broke into the shop is this one. Following this, the victim and the accused moved into the storeroom. Meanwhile, the Skulkin brothers entered the shop and summarily heard the fatal gunshot ring out. Sadly, none of these events were captured on film. This is a print produced by the camera half an hour later, after the brothers' flight. So this was taken after Hurley was shot then. As far as I can tell, nothing has been taken. Yeah, that's same for me too. That does seem to be the case. I can't notice anything obviously missing in the second print. So, the brothers who look like criminals told only one lie. They shot man, but they stole nothing. It would seem so, yes. Good. No, not good! You were right. I did not understand the situation. I know now. Now I know brothers have lied. I think it is very important to continue with trial. Yay! Well done, Runo. The balance is shifting. Well, it's a start, I suppose. But there must be more in what these jurors are saying that I can use to expose the truth. And if I can do that, we just might turn the situation into to our favor still. Thank you, counsel. Continue with the summation examination. This is the first time we've only had one go in and not two. And kindly hand that new photographic print to the bailiff as, to be filed as evidence. The post-shooting photograph has been entered in the court record. Another print in the court record. I wonder if we can make use of that. Did he change his hair? Because that's like the same pose.
Hold it!
Don't know unless you try.
Take that!
Alright then, juror number 3. Are you saying you can do this with any two suitable photographic prints? Of course I can. Very well then, I'd like you to demonstrate. I'd be delighted to. Just give me one more print and I'll amaze you all.
Take that!
Alright, these two prints were both taken with the same camera in Windibanks on the night in question. Yes, I see. Tell me, lawyer, do you know how stereographic images work? You cross your eyes. Do you understand the principle? Well, I think so. I did have a lesson only yesterday. Yeah, it's just not working for me. Yeah, it's still not working. Yes, exactly. It's that small shift between certain objects in the two pictures that's really important. So what happens if you use two photographs that are exactly the same then? No, obviously that wouldn't work at all. Not for seeing the scene three-dimensionally anyway. Oh. Oh! Of course! Now I see! Ah! I think the young girl has discovered the secret! I have! Can you uncross your eyes before you tell me? Have another look at these two pictures from Hurley's camera, Runo. Go on! The game keeps making me cross my eyes. And I don't see anything. Can you see that there's a really obvious difference between them? No, I cannot. Oh wait! No, I see it now. Yeah, the lamp. It's broken. Of course there is. There are 2 people in the first and no people in the second. Well, yes, you can see that straight away, but now try looking at the pictures in 3 dimensions. Or I could just not and see it with my own eyes. Okay, I think it's finally working for me a little bit. Yeah, it's actually working for me now. Yeah, now it's working. Although it doesn't help me see the problem with the lamps. I'm very sorry. The game keeps making me cross my eyes, and I just keep doing it to see if there's anything I missed. I mean, like, I can see that there's a problem with the lamp. Also, I noticed there's a... What's up with the door? Hold on. Do you guys... Is there a draw feature in OBS? I wish I had my phone on me. Hopefully, it booted up Mozilla in what is my TV. And I don't want to go out and get my phone for this. But it's right by the window of the door. You can see the outline of it in the 1:30 shot, but you can't see the outline of it in the 1 a.m. What's going on there? Was that window not there at all originally? Well, did you manage to see it properly, Bruno? I mean... Ugh! What's going on with these 2 pictures? Okay, yeah. Some of the things on the counter sort of jump out at you. Yeah, I actually did manage to see that, actually. And for whatever... Oh, fucking A. Thank you, Lord Van Zeeks. Thank you for just using the fucking... Thank you very much. I wish I could... Well, thankfully I was recording this and streaming it. So I can just go back. Yeah, for whatever reason, those things in the back do tend to jump out, but... Other amazing power? Is someone going to explain this black magicker? Why the deuce do some things on the counter seem to jump out at you like that? I think you'll find that if you consider the basic principle of the stereoscope, you'll answer your own question. Basic principles of the stereoscope? As I said before, if you try to look at 2 identical pictures using a stereoscope, it won't work at all. It's the slight shift in the positions of certain objects that lets you see pictures 3-dimensionally. So they moved! In other words... Yeah, okay, I can definitely see that now looking at them side by side. It's hard to notice at first, but if you look at the stripe on the pants of the doll, the pink stripe, in the 1 a.m., it's off the counter, but in the 1:30, it's like just on the edge. They have moved very slightly. Even though at first glance it seems the objects on the counter haven't moved at all between the two pictures, this shows us that actually there must have been a slight shift in their positions. Yes, there must have been. Now hold fire there, sir! Got a reasonable grasp of this whole cross-eyed business now, I'd say. But why the devil does the shift between the two prints exist in the first place? Well, what's the answer, fellow? Come on, you're the cross-eyed master. What? Me? I haven't the first idea. I only just figured out how to make it work myself. You know, Runo, it's quite simple. It is? The objects moved. Just think it through step by step. The first photographic print was taken at 1 a.m. Then, 30 minutes later, the second photograph was taken. But the position of some items on the counter appear to have shifted slightly in the interim. So that means that sometime in the half-hour interval, someone must have tampered with the things on the counter. Zookers! Someone tampered? New information! Stop! Not mentioned in testimony so far! Stop! Yes. We've had to go around in circles a little here, it seems. But I'm starting to see what I should be aiming at in this submission examination now. Ladies and gentlemen, the question is now clear. We know the items on the countertop were moved, but by whom? Are you suggesting you might know? Of course. I can tell you right now who was responsible for the almost imperceptible shift in the items on the counter.
Take that!
It was the witnesses currently in the stand, the Skulkin brothers. Wait! This does not agree with what brother said in testimony before. They said they did not even have time to pull dukes from Lucy lockets. My phrase book says dukes means is meaning hands, and Lucy lockets is meaning pockets. But this, another lie? Is this what you are saying? Yes, I'm afraid so. Now hold on there a minute. You can't be sure of that. I quite agree. The accused is a common pick purse after all. It's perfectly possible that she went through the things on the desk to see what she might steal. I think that's unlikely. And why exactly? As you can see from this photographic print, the defendant was pointing a gun. Well, she wasn't pointing the gun at the victim. She was pointing it up. She had the gun in her hand and was looking at the victim, but she wasn't pointing the gun at the victim. It would seem as my learned friend indicated that she was coercing Mr. Windybank to open the store door. Okay, it seems like that's supposed to be said by Van Zeeks, except it says Ryunosuke is the one saying it. Hold on. Very sorry about that. In other words, Miss Lestrada's interests lay within the storeroom, not in the main shop, giving her no reason to touch anything on the counter. All of which points to one thing. The Skulkin brothers have omitted key facts in their testimony. But the accused is a pig purse, common gutter trash. Why look any further than the wrongdoer here? Because the Skulkin brothers are thieves, madame. No better, in fact, worse than a pick purse. I believe that these brothers were looking for something on the victim's counter that night. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if you would condemn the defendant on the grounds that she's the pickpocket, would it not at least be right and proper to thoroughly scrutinize testimony given against her by two thieves? Well said. I, for one, would like to hear more from that shady pair. I'm saying that. I hope that went through. Can you all see now? I think you'll find stereoscopes aren't playthings. You've never, you've seen their extraordinary potential firsthand. That's 3. You just need 1 more. Wholeheartedly agree. Stop. Must purchase after trial. Stop. We'll return home via Regent Street. Stop. And there's 4. Well, it would seem this trial has yet to run its course. The ladies and gentlemen of the jury have declared their inclinations via the mighty scales of justice. I hereby call the summation examination to conclusion, with the balance altered in the defendant's favor. 2 lean to guilty, 4 lean to not guilty. Accordingly, the jury is without consensus. And I order this trial to continue. Yay! Well done! Oh, by the way, what? You should hold on to this, Runo. You never know when it might come in useful. I'm sorry, but the mental image of Lord Van Zieks using this thing, it just hit me. It just hit me, and it's hilarious. Lord Van Zieks, you will instruct the witnesses that the court demands additional testimony from them. Yeah. On the one hand, I'm glad they didn't have Lord Van Zieks cross his eyes, because that would take all the menace this guy has right out of him. But it's still fucking funny to see him looking at the pictures through that thing. I'm sure it won't spoil the bouquet to do so, my lord. I've won myself another chance to probe that pair about their activities that night at least. And I won't stop probing them until I've proven that Gina is innocent. To be continued! Excuse me, I burped. Alright. We will be streaming Great Ace Attorney once again next week at 7 p.m. Assuming I'm not late because of literally anything. We'll be doing that next week at 7 p.m. where we will be continuing Gina's trial. But in between now and then, you can catch me playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition, specifically the 3rd Mass Effect game, on Saturday at 2 p.m., assuming something unplanned doesn't happen. But yeah, until then, I will see you guys then, later. I don't know how to